The bounty hunters. The conversation goes to the potential risk of some of the weapons and rumors of the poison, which is when Mr. T informed her of something interesting. Chemical weapons? We do have the capacity, but chemical weapons have a shelf life. They decay. So instead of having them always ready, we have them ready to be made. It's safer that way too. The base chemicals tend to need less in the way of actual containment, and the ones that are just one chemical in a gas state, we keep it in a liquid or solid state, and behind at least 4 layers of redundancy for storage. Chemical weapons are scary things, but the galaxy has shown us that we sometimes need to use things like that to survive. Has Slytherin been anywhere near such a creature? The closest he's been was several kilometers away as he released a deadly cargo to kill one. But with that creature, being on the ship in orbit and being a few kilometers away was all the same. It was able to strike from the ground and damage the ship. Really? We've long finished repairs, but it was a hell of a thing to face that thing. Was he awarded credit then? He got a fair share for as much as there wasn't much money. It wasn't an official bounty we were chasing, but a call to help that got out oddly. A call to help from someone that didn't survive to even finish the message, Mr. T states. That's, she tries to put words to it. Horrible. An entire planet held hostage. Try to leave it? Massive energy attack. Say the wrong word. Massive energy attack. Actually look directly at the source, and for most races, your eyes just slide right off. For my kind, massive headache, impaired faculties, and bleeding out the nose at best. We nearly lost someone just looking at the little brothers of the big monster that Slytherin dropped the gas on. What planet was this? Albrith. They had to use a lot of their resources to rebuild and get to healing after being held hostage for so long. They full-on joined the Undaunted in order to keep themselves safe afterwards. They're one of our recruiting worlds now, Mr. T explains. Wait, I have heard something about this. A clone gone rogue and creating even more depraved clones? That was at the heart of it. Out of the thousands of clones, only about a dozen were able to live in civilized society afterwards. All Undaunted citizens now as well? Yes. Do you just go around with the sole intent of recruitment and repatriation? Haraka asks, and Mr. T shrugs. We're a lot of things. Recruitment is one of them, he says, nodding to Sally. But we do a lot of things. We test new equipment in strange situations. We scout out worlds and give reports back home. We make first contact with newly met polities, and of course, we hunt down criminals and bring them to justice. Oh, that's why you're in the Empire and working so easily with us. Consider us the first impression. We put our best foot forward, Mr. T says, and Haraka nods. I see. So I need to speak to other permanent crew members. Where could I find them? If he's not at the helm with his girl or in a shuttle, then Airfarce is in the hangar bay working on his babies. The man was an obsessive pilot long before the Undaunted were a thing. How so? His nickname is well earned. He's the kind of pilot that can get large, dangerous vehicles through a drive-thru at a restaurant without scratching the paint, and insane enough to do with military hardware. Simultaneously, someone that higher-ups like to brag about, but can be the source of a lot of rapid-onset heart attacks. Really? He sounds like a fun sort. He was also the man who was evacuating Slytherin out of danger when the Gestalt teleported Slytherin to its presence. Thankfully, at least a third of it had serious issues with hurting a child, and could see that he still is one. You nearly lost him. No, we killed the beats. We rushed hard, rushed fast, and Pukey buried his knife into its heart. That's the price for trying to take him. You don't need to threaten me. I'm on your side. What? Oh, sorry. That wasn't directed at you at all, Mr. T clarifies. You're all really protective of him. We all met him as a small, hurt child in desperate need of help. He's grown a lot, but that first impression is very, very hard to shake. I remember what it looks like when his scars were still wounds, Mr. T says in a haunted tone. No one, especially a child, should ever have such a wound. I could see his muscles moving whenever he spoke. It was horrible. Did he not wear bandages? He had a transparent covering to prevent infection and allow medical personnel to see if he was developing an infection or the like with ease. But it was damn disturbing at times. Did you encourage him to wear his hair over his face like he does? He was doing that before we met him. He wanted that pain covered, Mr. T says. It was probably the only shield he had against his abuser. More psychological than physical. I'm not a violent woman. Even my instincts are not violent. If I'm attacked, I want to retreat and start weaving sticky traps. But the urge to strangle a bitch is getting rather strong. Welcome to the crew. It's one being one of us, wanting to kill that fucking bitch that hurt our little buddy. Sadly, she was force-fed plasma shot, courtesy of the captain, before he even knew she needed to suffer. But the first taste was plenty lethal, so it's not like we can kill her twice for it, Mr. T says before snorting in amusement. Also compliments for using the right word. Most would say, choke a bitch, but you choke on food stuck in your throat. Someone with their hands around your neck is strangling you. Important difference. Thank you? She asks, unsure of the unusual compliment. He then pulls out his communicator and types something down. If you're having an issue wrangling everyone up, then I've just asked Air Farce to gather everyone together. He should meet you in Jawbone, if you know where that is. The room with the furniture carved from Karnak's jawbones? Nah, you were just in there, weren't you? It's where I spoke to Slytherin. Well, I just sent our most irreverent crew member to drag the rest there for you to talk to everyone at once. Not quite what I wanted. Smaller one-on-one conversations are more suitable, so people don't pressure each other into things. Harika says, and Mr. T nods before pulling out the communicator again. Abort mission. She prefers one-on-oneing it. So the ducks go back in the pen? Air Farce's voice sounds out. And the land rack. And the bison? We have bison. Yes, but you'll never find it now, Air Farce says before letting out an evil laugh and hanging up. Prick, Mr. T says fondly. You have a strange sense of humor. Oh no, that was Air Farce. You're going to have a laugh with him. He loves to have fun, but also knows where the line is. The man is annoyingly good at what he does. And what does he do? He flies, Mr. T says. What in the... Harika exclaims as she opens the door to the hangar bay to find the floor completely covered in small yellow toys with painted-on eyes and bright orange bills. Unleash the Quacken! A young girl cheers out, and there's a series of sounds from each of the tiny yellow toys as their eyes start glowing blue. It's all low enough to be far from deafening or blinding, but it's so confusing Harika just pauses as Letha lets out some strangled sounds behind her. Really? This is what you wanted all that low-grade rubber, lights, and speakers for? Letha demands. Look at the expression on her face. It's perfect, Air Farce comments as an Air Vaughan swoops down and hovers above the quacking conglomeration of rubber ducks, and the side door opens under the grip of a young Canador girl, shimmering white fur with bright green highlights. She stands out like a flare and is just barely resisting the urge to laugh. So, you want to talk about our little snake boy? Then come on in. There's room aplenty. This is just, Litha exclaims as she looks out over things. Do you always have to go so far with your jokes? Oh, come on. No one's hurt, and they'll recycle back into raw material easy. It's time and energy for a lifelong memory. Good trade. Air Farce justifies from his place in the pilot seat. The van hovers up until it's almost bumping up against the door, and there's just a hair's breadth between the door and the van and the van and the ducks. An absurd display of both skill and a strange sense of humor. Come on, the ground level's occupied by some quacking madman. We'll talk on the second level. You're going without me. I need to read something sensible for the galaxy to seem right side up again, Litha remarks in exasperation. Aw, party pooper, Jade calls out, and Litha sighs. It's more fond than annoyed, but there is a healthy amount of annoyance there as well. For her part, Harika steps out onto the hover vehicle and finds the inside is expanded so she can stand comfortably inside. The door is closed and Litha offers a farewell wave before closing the airlock to the docking bay. How long did it take you to do this? Couple hours, programming the printer and production line, took half of it. Then we just fed in the materials and let it go. After that, the rest of the actual work time was just putting them all down and facing the door. You set this up before I was even on the ship, didn't you? I knew you were coming. Figured you'd appreciate a proper greeting. How is thousands of strange yellow rubber toys a proper greeting? How is it not? Air Farce asks. This isn't a question you can just turn back like that. It's absurd. It was funny, Jade counters. She looks out the window and lets out a snicker. And it's still funny now. The Airvon is gracefully put into a landing shelf and Airfarce slips out of the vehicle and then flips onto the top even as Harika and Jade leave out the side door. Airfarce is already sitting cross-legged on the roof. So what do you want to talk about, ma'am? Probably me as well as Scaly, Jade says as she climbs onto the hood, reclines onto the windshield, and uses the entire front of the van as a recliner that leaves her head bumping up against Airfarce. The sheer casual comfort between the two makes Harika smile. Just a few questions about you. Lost memories and clearly remembered trauma are very different things. True that, Jade replies, and Airfarce snickers at the momentary baffled expression on Harika's face. Right, true. Anyways, we can clear out concerns about you quickly enough. What kind of memories have you retained, if any? No memories relating to people, places, or things like that. But if I go through the meditations and tricks to help get them back, I'll start picking up old skills, schematics, and bits of languages I used to know. To me, it's like everything started the day I woke up on the Chainbreaker. But every now and then I start doing something and it just seems to flow, and it turns out it's something that already exists. It's like my custom targeting system in the armor I'm making. Turns out it's a really old school model that's out of fashion but still in use because, while not as precise as the newer stuff, it's so reliable that entire swaths of the Canador population swear by it. I mean, you can smash everything but the optics of the helmet and it will still work if you can keep them balanced on your muzzle. It's that kind of tough. Very interesting. Have there been other developments along those lines? Well, the bits of languages I remember aren't too useful. It's almost entirely swear words. I'll start muttering as they come to me, and then a fight kicks off because I've actually been going down the list to make one species or another jump you in a blind rage. Jade admits, and Airfarce chuckles as he strokes her cheek. Never change. Those are the funnest brawls ever. Sir! Yes, sir! Jade salutes him and he chuckles. Harika smiles at the wholesome sight. Now then, about Slytherin,